of what we talked about in class on Monday. And what we talked about in class, the first part of it was, we talked about creating columns with text boxes. Now, for most of you, I'm just going to go in here and change this layout from 4 columns to 2 so we can see what's going on. And I'm going to delete this text box. So for most of you, what you're doing is, I showed you how to thread text. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to come down to the bottom of this column. I'll grab this and I'll do that. And the text is threading. So if I close this window shade, you can see the word boldface come up to the top of this column. And I know most of you are doing it that way. And that's great. But there's another way to make columns that I want you to understand. I'm going to take the text box, I'm going to pull it across, and I'm going to go to a very powerful tool, which is the text frame options box. And in this box, there are quite a number of tools that we can use here, all of which relate to text frames. But the one I'd like to show you first is the column tool. So now I've given it 2 columns, and because I have the preview button on, you can see that this has happened. Now, I have a grid on the page that I used my margins and columns to create. And I think you can see that red line, that the column, this now, let me hit OK. So this is a single text box, but it has 2 columns in it. But you can see, if I zoom in, the gutter, that is the space between the columns, doesn't exactly match the one on the page. And that can be a little confusing. So I'm going to go back. I'll go to the layout and I'll say, okay, this gutter is set to 9 points. So we're going to click on this box. I'll go to Object, Text Frame Options, and you can see, sorry, it's over here. This is my gutter. It's set to 1 pica, which is 12 points. So I'm going to dial that down so that they match. So I don't have kind of conflicting rules on the same page. Now the nice part about this is, if I decide in my layout that I want to have everything start from the top drop, I don't have to worry about whether or not these 2 things line up with each other. I know they just do because they're in the same text box. And then what I can do is, let's say I wanted to have all the A's. I'm going to set my my I-beam here, and I can go to Type, and I can go to Break Character, and I can ask for a column break. And you'll see I just sent, here's the column break. That little downward arrow means column break. So I sent backslant here, and then I can go here, and I can do it again, Type, Insert Break Character, Column Break, and now cap height has moved to the next page. I haven't really started working on these pages yet. So again, I can have a single column, and I can thread the text from column to column. That's helpful. Let me pull that out. So that's helpful if I want the copy to kind of move along the page. If I want copy up here and copy down there, it makes sense to split them into 2 columns. But if I want everything to start from the same start point, it makes sense to, I can also, by the way, I'm in Classic, I'm in the Essentials, and the column controls are also up here. See that? And I can dial it back to 9. Or I can do that here in the text frame options box. Let's look at a couple of other things that you can do in the text frame options box. I am going to get rid of this, and I'm going to fill this page with text. So there's some placeholder text that I've used to fill this page. So let's say that I'm doing a newsletter or I'm doing a textbook. I'm going to grab this. I'll add some paragraph space between the 2 different columns. Let's say I wanted to do a call-out box. A call-out box is something that you do in newsletter design or magazine design, where you pick up a quote and you make it larger and you put it within the text. You're kind of, especially with a long article, you're kind of encouraging people to keep reading, to hit that pull quote. So we call that a call out or a pull quote. So I'm going to grab a sentence. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to bring it up here and I'm going to paste it. Now, right now, this doesn't look like much. It's sitting on top. I have these two text boxes that are sitting right on top of each other. Let me just, here, I'll make this into a headline, right? Arial. Come on. There we go. Arial black. All right, I'll make it much shorter. There, I'll make it shorter. I'm going to do Shift Command greater than. I showed you that in class. So here's my column of text. Here's my call out. I'm going to take a second and go into text wrap. I showed you this in class. I'm going to hit this first one, which is wrap around. So as you see now, I have this kind of bounding box in the middle. I'm going to make the call out text. So this text box is sitting on top of this other text box, and the text is wrapping around. So a couple things I'm going to do. I will grab it. I will make it Arial. I'll use Arial as my sans serif face. Come on. Let's see. I'll do Arial bold. All right, and I'll make it a little bit bigger. Now, it's not real text, so I can go ahead and just do that. I can grab it. I'll add some leading, some line spacing. Now, my problem with this, if I turn off the background grid, you can see this text is right up to the top of this text box. So again, I'm going to go into text frame options. I'm going to go over here to vertical justification, and I'm going to ask it to center inside the box. All right, this is looking a little better. So I can push that down a little bit. If I want to make the text stand out a little bit more, we'll go over this in class on Thursday, but I can use these controls to push the text away further. I could also, if I wanted to add color to this box, I can go back into the text frame options box. I told you there's a lot of things going on in here. If I do the text inset, that's going to give me a clean margin on the inside. Watch the text as I do this. See that? Now, you can see as I did that, I'm cutting off some of the text. So I need to make this bigger so that all the text will fit. I'm going to do a soft return so I don't end up with an orphan. And so there's my call out box. So I've done a bunch of things with this call out box. I have changed, here we go, sorry, object, text frame options. I've aligned it to its center. I've added some inset spacing, and then I've come over here and used the text wrap on this second text box to create kind of a box within a box effect. You can do all of these things with columns. Some of this might not be relevant for our project, but I wanted you to see what you can do with columns. All right, that's a really brief kind of mini recap of the lecture that we did on Monday.